What is going on YouTube? It's Brandon back with number 8 of the video series. If you're just now joining us, I'm posting a video every single day for 365 days in a row about the steps that I am taking in order to become a destination photographer. So, for those of you who've been following along, glad to have you. For our new friends, thanks for joining us. And so what we're going to do today, I know yesterday I said I would do Catherine's prints, and we'd talk about how kind of I set up some of my photos for prints. I know we talked about that. However, I'm going to be frank with you, that's on a different machine other than my laptop, and I'm not quite sure what the recording process is going to look like over there just yet. And kind of running out of hours on today. Kind of had a big day, so you know, you got to do what you got to do. I did promise you a video every single day, and so here it is. Basically what I want to do today is I want to go over kind of what's in my bag, so to speak, what's in my arsenal as far as lenses and cameras and all that stuff goes. First and foremost, I am shooting all of this on a Nikon D610 with a 28mm f2.8. It's actually one of my favorite lenses, but that's it. That's this setup here. I'm just gonna go ahead and dive right in and just start pulling things out of the bag. Now, some of the things that aren't in the bag that I have out here on the table, I'll kind of discuss that, mainly because there's only so much room in this thing and I can't fit everything. Besides, some stuff I only use, you know, a handful of times, so it's definitely a situation like that. For instance, we'll just start off with the big bad mamma jamma right here. This is a lens that I'm only going to use like in very special situations, and quite frankly, the only reason why I have it is because I got a crazy good deal on it. It's the, look at that, it's the big bad mamma jamma. This is actually what I took the Eclipse photo with. That's a Tamron 200 to 500. I really like this lens. However, at 500, it's a little soft. So just know that. I kind of like the 200 to 400 range personally myself, but this is basically, I only bring this out if I, you know, I'm doing something very specific, maybe like wildlife shooting, or I don't know, taking pictures of the sun, you know, that sort of thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set this off to the side here. I'm just gonna take a quick drink of water. And moving right along here. And so another thing that you guys know that I do a lot of is real estate photography. And for real estate photography, you need a good wide angle lens without tiptoeing into the world of fisheye. And so I know a lot of architectural lenses can be super expensive. So say like if you're looking for, let's see, a 12 to 24 2.8, that's, you know, $1,400, somewhere in that range. If you're looking for like, you know, the 11, I think the 11 to 16 is a crop sensor lens. But anyways, Rokinon, this is perfect for anybody looking to get into real estate photography. Rokinon actually makes a 14mm, was this 2.8? Yeah, 14mm 2.8. I picked this up for, oh man, I think 250 bucks used, something like that. It's a fully manual lens, so there's no like autofocus built into it, which is completely fine, because if you know anything about architectural photography, especially interiors and stuff like that, you're typically shooting at anywhere from f11 to f14 anyways, with the focus on infinity to get everything in focus. So really you don't even need you don't need a lens that's tack sharp at 2.8. You don't need a lens that has autofocus built into it, because if you're shooting at infinity with, you know, that wide of a depth of field, then what's it matter? So here's kind of a little gem that I picked up today. This is the reason why I say this is a little gem, is it's kind of a hidden secret, and Canon users, I don't know if this necessarily applies to you, because I know the flange is a little bit different on your guys' camera. So if you're a Canon user, sorry, I don't quite know if this works for you just yet. Anyways, this is the Nikon 35mm 1.8 for the crop sensor bodies. So this is a DX lens. Now, the reason why I say this is a gem, especially if I only shoot on full sensor cameras, the crazy thing is, so the reason why you stop seeing DX lenses being produced around the 50 millimeter is because by the time that that angle kind of narrows in that area of field of view, that's the word I was looking for, the field of view starts narrowing, you don't run into that issue of vignetting that you would on, say, like the wider lenses. Now, the crazy thing is on the 35 millimeter, and this is going to be great for like reception shots and you know, any shot where the corners kind of don't really matter as much. This lens from about f4 and below, you can pretty much eliminate all of the vignetting in Lightroom alone. So this basically essentially is a 35 millimeter 1.8 that you can use on your full frame camera for, let's see, I picked this one up, guys. I picked this up for $60. I picked it up for 60 bucks. On average, though, these lenses run for about $100, I think. So this is seriously, I mean, this is a tack sharp lens. This is going to be, this is kind of like a hidden gem, if you will. I know some of those full sensor people, I can pretty much just hear them now being like, oh my gosh, why are you using that? But go ahead, slap one of these on your body and tell me that you wouldn't shoot with it, especially for $100. You know what I mean? Because what's that? A 35 millimeter 1.4? Was that another $1,400, if not more? I mean, unless you go the Sigma route, which is, I think, $600 to $800, somewhere in that range. But I hear they're notorious for missing focus. So I don't know. I'll let you guys decide for yourself on that one. So we're gonna move right into my, I don't know if it's my second body or my main body, but anyways, I'm shooting a Nikon D3S, and its body cap is a Nikon 80 to 200 2.8. I really like this setup here for shooting weddings just because the D3S is a really great low light performer. Especially Nikon users, you know how much information you can pull back from the shadows. So this guy, super awesome. He's a little bit dated, so I'm thinking here in the next year I want to switch and upgrade to the D4S, and if I can afford it, maybe even the D5S. But the 80 to 200 is an alternative lens to the 70 to 200. Now the reason why I go with the 80 to 200 is because it doesn't have the image stabilization built into it, and this thing can produce images so sharp it'll cut you. Like, I'm not even kidding. That's how awesome that is. Now the best part about it, and I'm kind of like, look, we all know photography can get super expensive. So the really great awesome thing about the 80 to 200 is it costs about a third to maybe a half of what a 70 to 200 will run you. So I mean, that's just a really great budget minded option, especially if you're looking to get into like shooting some professional portraiture or maybe even sports photography where you really need some of that low light performance and capability. So just gonna put that down right there. You'll see that I shoot a lot of D series glass. So this is the 50 millimeter 1.4. I picked this up for 150 bucks because it was broken. So one of the things that I've actually gotten good at, especially with the D series prime lenses, is these things have a knack for getting the oil. So like if you leave these in a hot car or something, the lenses have oil in it and it'll bleed onto the aperture blades and it'll drastically slow down the aperture blades. So one thing that I've gotten good at doing over the past few years is I can pick up these lenses for next to nothing if they're broken and they got oil on the aperture blades, and fix them up, and then boom, this is like a $250 lens that I got for basically half the price, so to speak. And this is every bit one of my favorite lenses too. So you know what, actually this is where this body cap needs to go now that I'm looking at, or lens cap needs to go now that I'm looking at it. So look at that. That's gonna be like the number one thing as a photographer. Like caps just sort of go anywhere that they can. Here, let me try and make a little lens pyramid over here for you, if you will. Let's just move right along. This lens right here, it's the Tamron 28 to 75 2.8. I want to say I like this lens, but the the fact of the matter is, it's not sharp enough, and honestly the color on it is just kind of pretty bad. I actually might consider selling this in the future to get a different piece of glass, because I just, truth be told, I don't even use it anymore. All it does is kind of take up space in my bag. If I need to do something in this focal range, I will shoot it occasionally, but it's not my favorite go-to lens. So guys, if you're thinking you're gonna save on a 24-70, don't go with a 28-75, especially this lens, because it's just not my favorite. Not my favorite. Like I said though, I'll keep it, because one of the cool things about it though, actually, that I do want to talk about is it's a macro lens too. So it doesn't get exactly like 1-to-1 ratio, but it gets pretty close. I think it's like 2-to-1 ratio on image reproduction. So moving right along here, these are kind of some of the things that are in the very bottom of the bag here. I'm just gonna pull them out so that way I'm not having to keep digging around in there. All right, that was the last one. That one's kind of hard to reach, so we're just gonna go ahead and do this really quick here. So this lens right here, again, I shoot a lot of D series lenses. This is the Nikon 60mm macro lens. They're one of their D series, and this thing is sharp, 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 sharp. It doubles really awesome as a portraiture lens in a pinch. I say in a pinch because it starts out at f2.8, and I think it tops out around like 5.6, something like that. So it is a variable aperture lens, but that's mainly because of how far it needs to focus for a lot of macro stuff. This is my go-to lens for a lot of ring shots, a lot of detail shots, mainly because I can get a wider depth of field over the next lens, which is the Nikon 105 macro. Now this lens, I've had a lot of fun with this lens over the years. I keep going back and forth on my opinion on it, mainly because it is a fully manual lens. I mean, look how long this thing turns. Like, it just turns for a whole day. There's like a whole nother lens hidden inside of this thing. So it's a really awesome lens. I used it for a lot of when I was doing fly fishing stuff and I was tying a lot of flies. I would use it to take pictures of flies, but I think as my needs and wants out of my equipment kind of grow, this thing, I just find I'm not using it as much, so I might actually consider offloading it here soon, or maybe just permanently attaching it to a film body. It's not super awesome as a portraiture lens, but I guess in a pinch, it's not so bad either. So, and lastly, this was like, oh man, I want to say this was like my first professional, air quotes, professional quality lens. It's a Rokinon 85mm 1.4. Don't worry guys, I do actually have the body cap. It's just sitting in the other room here because I had it attached to this thing, and I'll tell you a little bit about this since I have it out. But no, I really like this lens. Again, from all the Rokinon glass, it's a fully manual lens, so it's all manual focus. And the cool thing is for Nikon is it actually does have focus confirm built into it, so it actually communicates with your camera, and you can use the rangefinder option in your camera to make sure that you get focus. But this was like my first professional lens. I actually shot my first wedding with pretty much this lens and the 35. Like, these were my the two lenses that I swapped out mostly at that wedding. It's just not fast enough, you know, doing the manual focus for a wedding. So I'm actually here in the next couple weeks, I'm gonna buy an 85 1.4 yes D series lens, because I do enjoy the D series lenses. Because the fact of the matter is I do still shoot a lot of film, so I actually do need lenses that are capable of focusing on film bodies, other than like what we got for Nikon and everything right now. So anyways guys, that's pretty much that's in my bag. I just kind of wanted to go over everything that's in there. Maybe, you know, if you guys have some questions as to, you know, kind of what I got going on and what my kit is, if you're curious as to finding out like why do I shoot with this big thing versus, you know, say like my 28 that I have on my 610. So anyways guys, This was day number 8, and as always, smash that subscribe button. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Every little bit helps. Share it with your friends, maybe hit that little notification bell, comment, you know the whole 9 yards. This isn't not your first time to YouTube. So anyways, guys, do that, and I'll see you in the next video.